G'day, folks, and welcome to The Legacy of the Monolith, a sci-fi podcast where two elder nerds discuss matters of science fiction. I am Stiggin, and with me is my brother, Ramnexus. How are you, Ramnexus?
I'm very good, Stiggin. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm glad we got the technology sorted out tonight. We're trialing a new method of recording our podcast, audio and video tonight. So,
and it
fingers
works.
crossed, it all works.
Yeah,
but so far so good.
Yeah,
yeah.
As I mentioned just prior to pressing record, it kind of helps that one of us, i.e., you, actually read the documents and did some pre-reading.
RTFM.
Yeah, apparently it makes a difference.
In my case, watched a bunch of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So
2025. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, no, we're using video.ninja. And as is always the way, Ramnexus, we don't really catch up much outside of doing podcasts. That's of course of having families and living in different cities and so forth. But so tell me, what have you been up to? What's been happening?
I'm just thinking, wow, what have I been doing? I haven't really been doing that much that sci-fi podcast listeners would be interested in, except I did buy a new lightsaber.
By the way, I bought a new lightsaber. Yes, I can't show us. You want to.
I'll show you. I have in my hands a Force FX Elite lightsaber from Baylan Skoll. Yes, Baylan Skoll is a character introduced in Star Wars Ahsoka, and it's a very interesting character. He is the actor who plays him, Ray Stevenson, actually passed away after season 1.
That's very sad. Have you heard who they're replacing him with? They've recast the role.
Oh, no, I haven't heard. Have you heard?
Yes, it's a Rory McCann. He's well known as playing the Hound in Game of Thrones. That guy.
Yes, so. I can see it. He needed to be a large, powerful figure
with a certain gravitas.
Yeah,
I mean, I was available.
You have gravity due to mass, but he has gravitas.
Isn't that the same thing?
Come on. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't know that. That's interesting to know. Because the character was a Jedi.
Yes, a lapsed Jedi.
Mm. Yeah, listen, we can talk more about him later because I want to talk a bit more about Ahsoka. That's a bit of kit that I bought.
No, well done. Nice work.
The interesting thing for those who don't know is that usually the bad guys in Star Wars have red lightsabers and the good guys have usually green or blue. This lightsaber is a deep orange. It was an intentional thing to show that he is not Sith. He's not a bad guy. Well,
he's not Sith. Pure Sith. Yeah. He's turned his back on the Jedi, but he's not a Sith either. But yeah, no, he was probably one of the best things about Ahsoka, to be honest.
How about you? What have you been up to?
I've been making a lot of dad joke videos. I tried to do one today, and the cat. I did it in this very room, and the cat decided to jump up on my shoulder. So I just recorded 15 seconds of the cat on my shoulder purring. And
oh my God, you probably get 1 million views in a week.
I posted that. Well, that's the hope. And then I did the actual proper dad joke video afterwards. After I kicked the cat out of the room, I didn't kick her out.
Actually, I was reminded of a joke today because I went to a barbecue at lunch at a friend's place, and they have 2 dogs who are in amongst us all. And it reminds me of that joke where after a barbecue, there's 2 guys sitting on banana chairs, and between them is one of their dogs who's licking itself, as dogs do. One of the guys who's got a beer in his hand said, "Man, sometimes I wish I could do that." And the other guy says, "Well, you can. It's your dog."
Today's joke, I still remember it, was I went to the paint shop to get some thinner. Didn't work. I'm still a fat bastard.
To get thinner. Nice, good. Yes, actually, that is good.
Look, nothing like a bit of self-deprecating humour. What else have we been up to do? Well, last week I went to Sydney for a few days for the weekend, and I did something very, very nerdy. I paid a lot of money to watch a whole bunch of people play Dungeons and Dragons live on stage
Did you really? Wow.
I did. I went to see Critical Role.
Oh.
They did shows in Sydney and Melbourne. And they had like 9,000 people in Sydney, and I think about 12,000 in Melbourne, over at Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, you know. And like, here, really, I'm a grown man. I mean, we played Dungeons and Dragons like decades ago.
Yes.
You know, I'm thinking the 1980s definitely. So we're coming up of, if not actually 40 years, it'd be pretty close to 40 years ago.
Yes.
And now it's at the point where people are touring shows and drawing tens of thousands of people to come and see them play Dungeons and Dragons on stage, and it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting because there were some noticeably different groups of people there. So you had people like me who were obviously solo flyers, because we went in and sat into the theatre. Well, no, I'm going by myself. I'm going to sit here and by myself and just make myself comfortable. And you can see as the individual solo flyers spotted around the room. And then you had people who were dressed up in cosplay as the various characters that they've played in their the D&D campaigns in the past. So that was a lot of fun. And then you had groups of like 5 or 6 middle-aged guys who were obviously D&D groups all hanging around together. And
right.
And a lot of these people, you get the sense they don't get out much.
Right.
They weren't like normal theatre goers or things like that, you know. So they like the sort of people who probably wouldn't have gone to see Taylor Swift.
No. And you could tell because, you know, whenever the sun came out from behind the clouds, they'd like run for cover.
Yeah, I think the look, I love a Venn diagram. So the Venn diagram of people who see Taylor Swift and people who play Dungeons and Dragons,
yes,
the intersection area would be quite small,
very small.
So
we started playing D&D in the 80s. I do vaguely remember having a discussion about, wouldn't it be great if one day in the future D&D was like a stadium sport? And it always reminds me of that Monty Python skit where this guy's writing a novel and there's the stadium and they've got commentators and so forth. I thought it'd be funny if D&D got like that, and kind of has now.
It kind of has, and it was, well, the beauty of D&D that I like, because not only have I played Dungeons and Dragons in the past, but I'm also an improv performer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of improv in Dungeons and Dragons, and the things that people at Critical Role, they're all professional voiceover actors, so they're all actors. So they know how to perform as well as play the game. So that's what they bring. They bring to the storytelling aspect of the story. It's not just a bunch of nerds sitting rolling dice. Nothing wrong with that. That's freaking great. I love that. You know, and we have friends who are kind of like that, who the rules lawyers know everything, and you know, and that's great. Every campaign, every party, every group needs people like that. But it's about the storytelling for me, you know. And and so what they did at the show, without giving away any spoilers, is like, well, they're just trying to wrap up some loose ends of a big recent campaign that they've just had. So and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, looking forward to actually seeing it on VOD at some point. It'll be on YouTube.
Oh, they've recorded it. Okay,
yeah. What they actually did, they actually sold tickets in North America so people can go and see the show that I had just seen on stage, and people in America could go to a local cinema to watch it, and it was probably broadcast about 12 hours later.
Oh my God, it wasn't even live.
Yeah. So
that reminds me, I must have been 5 years ago when before Cyberpunk 2077 came out. So yeah, that is 5 years ago. I was on some Xbox email list, and I was able to get myself a ticket to this event, which was to go to a local cinema and watch live a feed, which was a couple of game announcements, and they had a big Cyberpunk 2077 reveal, and Keanu Reeves was on stage, and it was quite a famous scene, you know, almost a meme now, where someone in the audience yelled out, "You're breathtaking," and he did this really cool line back, "No, you're breathtaking." And I, in a way, saw that live, maybe a 2-second delay, but we were watching that as it happened.
And that's Keanu Reeves all over. He's such a cool guy. Now, because I was in Sydney for the weekend, and as well as the shows on the Thursday night, they actually had a con over the weekend that a lot of the Critical Role people went to and people were buying spots for photographs and autographs and stuff like that. I don't need to see that. I was more than happy just to see them with my own eyes on stage, even if you do watch most of it on the video screen up in the corner. But, yeah, I did not need their signature.
Was it a good story? I mean, don't tell the details, but do you think the story changed much because of the player input?
It was, there was a dramatic moment. The last half hour was quite dramatic because they were in combat for the last half of the show. And it went for nearly 5 hours.
What?
It started at 6 p.m. and it finished at quarter to 11.
That's a proper D&D session. That's good.
Well, probably the first half hour was introduction, and there was an Australian host. It was kind of like a bit of storytelling, but a bit of combat, bit of dice rolling, a couple of big critical 20s.
Nice.
Towards the end, and the audience went wild.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah. That was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
In terms of a big swing point of the story, well, this is kind of a bit of a. It's almost like a wrap up, like I was saying, of the most recent big campaign. It's like wrapping up a couple of loose ends. Or what happened to this guy from the end of the campaign 3? Says, well, let's go find out. And that's what they're doing down here.
Oh, right.
In what they've actually done in the universe, they've gone to a place called the Shattered Teeth, which is actually in the southern hemisphere of their particular world. Oh. And so, appropriate, they come to Australia, they do a show about the Shattered Teeth. And they did chuck in a few Australian references, which is really cool. I don't want to spoil
That's
anything,
good.
but
okay.
It was a lot of fun.
The reason I asked that question is I'd seen a few live D&D sessions, and one was actually Cthulhu.
Oh, Call of Cthulhu.
It didn't, obviously it was a new story, like the players were learning what was happening at the same time, but I think also it was designed in a way that you couldn't have really played it any other way. There was sometimes when you're DMing, if the players really don't want to do something, like it's tough for the DM, but you do pivot. This is how I did it when I was DMing.
Yeah, it's the old railroading argument: is how much of it is the free will of the players, and how much of it is railroading. And there's probably a little bit in here because they basically, the Australian shows were basically part 1, part 2 of the same story. So so I've got no idea what happened in Melbourne and what the outcome was.
But you can find out eventually when it goes.
I will find out eventually. So
that's awesome.
I look forward to that. I mean, I'll probably rewatch the show I went to again. That'll be fun. I'm sure there'll be details I'll pick up that I didn't pick up on. Well, at the show. I mean, probably sitting in the most uncomfortable seats in the universe probably didn't help, but that's another story. So yeah, there probably was a little bit like, okay, we've got to do this and we're heading towards this. And it's probably like, there's obvious things that you got to do. But in terms of if you're doing a broad campaign of 100 nights of D&D, there is a lot of scope for characters go, I want to go over here and check out this part of the universe. Okay, let's go and do that. Sort of thing,
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Very cool. So, I haven't seen much of Critical Role, but
it's a lot to get into. Considering most broadcast episodes average 4 hours. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So had that experience. I'm not sure I'd have to go and see him again, but it was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it. So
that's good.
That was my little trip to Sydney.
Actually, sounds like a cool thing to do. Just
it was a very nerdy thing to do. Very hard to explain to my partner what it is. Why are you going to Sydney? And I'm going to see this show. So you're paying good money to fly on a plane and stay in a hotel and buy a ticket to see grown adults roll dice on a stage.
Well, it's entertainment, isn't it? I guess
you would have liked that.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, it's storytelling, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about. It's good storytelling. Perhaps now we need to talk about what have we been watching.
Well, the first thing I've been doing, I don't know if you've done this. I went to the cinema, and I went to watch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
I did not go see that movie at the cinema. I lost track of the Mission Impossible movies.
No joke. I sat down and watched the movie prior to this on a streaming channel.
Yep.
And my wife walked past and said, "What are you doing? We watched that one." And I said, "No, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this." And I got about halfway through and then, "Oh, wait, yeah, actually, I have seen this." But that's just an indication of either my attention span or the fact that there's so much similarity between them. It's a bit like the Fast and Furious movies, you know.
Yeah, again, I've lost track of them. I think I've seen up to 4 Fast and Furious.
It just looked good on the big screen, though, I will say.
I'm sure. Look, it looks spectacular in the trailer.
I don't know if you've seen this. There's a show on Netflix called Delicious in Dungeon. It's a Japanese anime.
No.
And it's for D&D players, basically. The story is that there's a dungeon, just like a typical D&D dungeon, and it has levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each level has a different type of monster and different things going on. And it's almost like an industry. People are going down and then dying and getting resurrected and coming up, and there's a whole sort of village up the top. So it's pretty much like old school D&D.
Okay. Yeah.
But the focus is that every time they kill a non-sentient monster, they eat it. And, you know, they actually talk about the different types of foods that you can make.
Do they take on the characteristics of the monster that they kill?
Sort of. And there's a couple of subplots going on. It's kind of clever. It's a very weird pacing. It's not kind of pacing that I'm used to. You know, it'll be really slow then very quick, and some good action scenes. But it's good. I think it's like rated MA, so it's for 15-year-olds plus in Australia. But I found it quite good. I've been watching that a bit lately. So it's a good tie-in between anime and Dungeons and Dragons, but not too over the top. Kind of a lot of humour.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And we as a family have just finished watching Ghosts. Yeah, there's them. So originally the UK.
Yeah.
But recently we've just finished watching the US version.
Yeah, I think we watched 2 or 3 episodes of that. I think that was kind of enough for us.
No, actually, the US version, I got to say, kind of filled out a bit more.
Okay. Hadn't watched the UK version, so I don't have that kind of comparison. So, yeah.
It's a bit like, you know, many shows, including The Office or something, where there's a UK version and then there's the US version. And I think the first episode is the same. And then and some of the ghosts in the house are the same or very similar, or they're Americanized version of them.
Yeah.
But I can't say which one's better, but the American one certainly, the characters filled out quite well, quite clever. Some quite good writing, some quite good episodes.
There is an Australian version in production.
Oh, is there?
Yes. I think it's being filmed in Perth somewhere, in WA, Western Australia.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How do you know? This is fantastic.
So, yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Good.
So, yeah.
I have to tell the family.
Yeah. So there's more ghosts to be had.
A couple of other things I've watched is, you know, Love, Death and Robots. They've got a few seasons of that. The latest one's come out. Some of it's very gratuitously violent, but some of it's very clever. I do want to talk about Ashoka, but before I do that, I'll mention that I bought a Switch 2.
Ah, yes, the brand new Nintendo handheld console.
And it plays like 99% of Switch 1 games.
Yeah.
And often it plays them better because it's just more powerful hardware. But there are some games that have specific Switch 2 patches, and so that actually increases their resolution and frame rate.
Nicely.
So I've been playing through the Zelda Breath of the Wild, which came out 2017 actually, but it's a very good game. The new screen is quite large compared to even the largest Switch 1.
Yeah.
I got to say, if you're playing it in handheld mode, because I've got big hands, it's actually quite sore. You need to get like a third-party wraparound, so it actually feels more like a controller.
Okay, yep.
And it was hurting my hand after a while. The games look great.
I have been thinking of like one of those Steam devices, or there's a few of those devices out there as a handheld gaming machine. So I have been thinking about that.
Xbox just announced an Xbox ROG Ally.
I did see that. Yeah.
So it's going to somehow link Xbox and PC gaming into handheld. But yeah, I don't think I do enough handheld. I've got a nice, beautiful screen in front of me. I'm happy to just continue.
You don't do enough handheld, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that was the end of the sentence, yes. Didn't you hear the full stop?
Full stop.
Right, yes.
Well, I did ask you what you've been up to, and
yeah. What's been cropping up lately? Well,
funny you mentioned that.
As for games, I've been trying. I want to get a platinum achievement for Oblivion, the remaster.
The remaster, which we talked a lot about last time.
Yeah, so the video was out, and I'm now just playing it for the sake of playing it. In the middle of making a video on Skyrim on trees, because my most popular video on my YouTube channel is on trees for Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know a lot about modding.
But look, they find your niche, but seriously, that's like the skinniest, narrowest of niches.
You think, but there's also grasses.
And grasses, yes, you did with grasses. Look, to be honest, I did watch those videos, and they are actually quite very interesting.
Especially because I put the frame rate results in. I think that's what people like. It actually shows objectively the impact.
That's the thing. You don't just say this looks good. You actually back it up with actual evidence. So, which is very good. And that's on your RAM Nexus channel. So, folks, go check out Ram Nexus on his channel.
So I talk about these games a lot because you can modify them, use player-made mods on the consoles, on Xbox and on the PlayStation. And for a long time, really, it was just Skyrim and Fallout 4 that you could do it on. But Baldur's Gate 3 now allows you to do it on consoles, add mods. And they announced about a month ago, The Witcher 3 is going to get mod support on consoles this year. So I actually made a quick news flash video about that, just because I imagine I will be following it, doing a bit of work on that. What I was going to talk to you about was Star Wars Ahsoka. So since we talked last time, we talked a lot about Andor.
We did talk a lot about Andor, and justifiably so.
It was worthy of discussion. It was excellent, but it made me hungry for a bit more Star Wars. So I actually rewatched Star Wars Obi-Wan. Was Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think it is, the series. I then started to rewatch Ahsoka, and I'm watching Ahsoka and thinking, look, I don't really know what's going on. And I realized that it is a direct follow-on to the 2014 to 2017 animated series Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that,
which I haven't.
Yeah, you've got to look at this going, what the hell? Because it pretty much follows directly from. So I realized I'd watched most of Rebels, but I hadn't seen like the last half a dozen episodes, which were perhaps the most relevant. So I watched them and then started to watch Ahsoka. It's like, oh, yeah, this makes a bit more sense now. I couldn't find any reference in Rebels that Sabine Wren has force powers. It's not mentioned at all. She does wield the black saber at one point in the series, but she doesn't. There's no mention of her having force powers that I was aware of. So it was a bit odd that she's now all of a sudden an apprentice to Ahsoka.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, people out there, I think the gist of that was just because you don't have force powers doesn't mean you can't be trained in the discipline of the Jedi Knight. And I think that's kind of the gist. Because she is a competent warrior. That maybe there's a little bit of force power in everyone that we just need to bring it out somehow.
So, I agree with that. Yes, sometimes the story Star Wars has said there are certain select people who have just been born and they've got force powers. Yeah, and there's another one that says there's a living force and everyone has the potential in them, basically. So so that was okay. So I'm getting into that. I just found it very interesting that Andor was a show that you could pick up and watch without any prior knowledge of Star Wars, really.
Yes.
This is almost the opposite. Not only do you know, you have to pretty much watch 4 years worth of an animated series that finished 8 years ago to really know what's going on. But,
I struggle with the Star Wars animated series. I've watched probably about 2 seasons. People tell me Rebels is good, so
I've watched more of Rebels than Clone Wars, actually.
There is a second season of Ahsoka, as we discussed earlier, coming. So the quality of writing in Ahsoka compared to the quality of writing from Andor.
Yep.
It's just stark contrast.
Yep.
I hope it's improved for the second season. So because there are some scenes that just really quite grated.
They were very slow. Like they obviously said to them, let's just slow this down and pace it to try and make it atmospheric, but it just looked almost lazy. They're just sitting there like counting to 5 before they respond to each other. But it has some good bits in it and it call back to other Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's got Admiral Thrawn in it, which is this is the first time I've actually watched any. I knew of Admiral Thrawn. This is the first time I've actually watched anything where he shows up.
Did you read the original Heir to the Empire?
I probably did decades ago.
Because I think that's where he was introduced.
Yeah.
I've got the first one on my bookshelf behind me. Well, the next episode, once I've rewatched the entire series with new eyes, I might give you a quick summary of my final thoughts.
I believe the talk is that Disney, they're going to focus on cinema more, make more movies rather than streaming TV shows. So hopefully that gives us better quality Star Wars, because there've been a few of the TV shows recently that could quite easily have been movies. One was originally going to be a movie, and then they stretched that out to make it into a TV series, and it kind of shows. So I think they're going to focus on movies, and probably the TV will be animated stuff. So, which is probably not a bad thing. So I doubt that we'll see a follow up to Andor in any sort of sense. But as much as I'd love to have it happen, maybe as a movie, that'd be good. Some of the characters from Andor.
You could see. Yes, I could see that.
I'd like to see, what Mon Mothma. Okay, now that the war is happening, what's her story? Let's see the story told from her perspective. Keeping all the rebels together as they fight the Empire. That would be very interesting. Anything else that you want to discuss?
Nothing really. I think we watched the Fountain of Youth, which is not really sci-fi, but new show on Apple TV. Did you watch that?
You watched it as well. That was going to be my things I watched that you don't have to.
Well, you could have told me earlier, but I watched it with my family. And everyone's going, "This is great, isn't it?" I'm going,
no. It's fun family
it's
entertainment.
a rollicking fun time, but you have to turn your brain off to be able to tolerate it.
And look, there's nothing wrong with that. It was pitched as kind of like in the vein of as National Treasure. Yeah. And it's just not up to the same caliber of storytelling as that.
I think it probably cost as much to make, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah, that wasn't great. I have watched some stuff that I've watched previously again that I'm more than happy to discuss with you.
Please.
I have the movie Excalibur. 1980, 81.
Yeah.
Production by John Borman. Still a damn good movie.
Yeah.
Still really good. Patrick Stewart, pre-Star Trek Next Generation days. Helen Mirren as Morgana Le Fay. Very young, very, very, very attractive woman.
Liam Neeson,
that's right. Liam Neeson's in it as well. Mm. Looks really good. The music is great. And considering it's like, 40 odd years old now, still stands the test of time. I probably haven't watched it for like about 10, 15 years, but I knew I had it on DVD there still, and still look great on the big screen, upscaled. So yeah,
I think I watched it maybe a year ago. I don't think I have it on disc, and I tried to get it, and it wasn't easy to get. So I bought it on Apple. So I actually have it on my Apple account.
With your Apple, can you actually download the video file and watch it separate offline?
You can watch it offline, but you still have to watch it through the Apple software, I think.
Okay. Look, we've had this discussion before. This is about the value of having physical hardware, hard copies of this physical media of the shows and TV programs that we really want to watch.
Yeah.
In the future.
A good example is there's an app, and I don't think it's Australian only. It's called Just Watch, you put in the name of a movie and it will tell you which streaming services it's currently playing on.
Okay.
And I went to watch Zero Dark 30, which was like the dramatization of finding and taking out Osama bin Laden. It's not on any streaming services that I had access to, and I got access to most of them. It's like, this wasn't a minor movie.
It was a big movie.
I don't have it on disc. I just couldn't watch it. Like, there was nowhere. It was nowhere. So I actually ended up watching 3 Days of the Condor, that 70s show, which I've got on DVD. It looked great, very 70s, but really well made Le Carre story.
Yeah.
If you really like a movie, get it on.
Buy the disc. Yeah. Definitely buy the disc. So Excalibur is great. Murderbot we've talked about is on my list. I'm rewatching Sandman on Netflix.
New series about to come out.
Because series 2 is about to come out. It's been a while since we watched it. So partner and I, we're really enjoying working through that. The thing I really love about that, it's to me, from my perspective, it's very different to any other genre of stuff, because it is kind of like, it's fantasy, but it's a different kind of fantasy,
Yeah.
Talking, heaven and hell and Lord of the Dreams and so forth. So it's beautifully filmed, and
it did look fantastic.
Yeah, really, really good to watch it again. So
I read the comics. I still got them, actually.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about it, is Neil Gaiman pulled together all of these different mythologies and just said, they're all valid, they're all true, and for the people that follow them.
We sat down and watched, rewatched, a lot of rewatching here. Rewatched the House of the Dragons seasons 1 and 2.
Oh, right.
So I think season 3 is coming at some point. It was actually good to watch that all pretty much straight through, probably in the space of a week and a bit, sort of all 18 episodes. I think it's 10 in season 1 and 8 in season 2. And it's just watching it all like that, it kind of flows on. You kind of remember all the detail, and particularly having watched it for a second time.
I just confess, I haven't watched it. I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it didn't stick with me. But you're thinking maybe if I was to binge them, I'd probably get more out of
it. Yeah. And if you're familiar with the Game of Thrones world, it's like, it's like about 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones. So a lot of it sort of leads up to that. The first bunch of episodes does a lot of time skipping, where it does it where it jumps from characters when they young teenagers to young adults to like in their 30s and so forth, and pushes on forward as. So So that once if you can get over that, and particularly when they change from the younger actors, not to say that they're not good, because they are, but to the older actors, and the story just becomes a bit more adult. So
yes, okay.
So that's probably not really a fair thing to say, because there's some very adult things that happen in the early episodes. But anyway, but they would I found it much more enjoyable to watch again, like back to back. So kind of as a rewatch, it works. I mean, like for example, we've talked about as soon as Murderbot finishes this for season 1, we're just going to sit down on one afternoon and just watch them all back to back.
Yeah, that would be excellent, actually.
So I look forward to that. A movie that I watched recently for first time in a while is Star Trek Beyond. Now, we did a Star Trek movie recently on the podcast, and my partner had a thing. She says, I like the recent Star Trek movies. Can we watch one of them? So I got Star Trek Beyond. Let's put that one on. Good action adventure movie, not particularly hardcore science fiction-y, but lots of good action sequences. Lots of fighting, physical fighting, and a bit of spaceship battle-y sort of stuff. So, it's great. It's fun. It's fun. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's definitely fun. So, and so she likes she doesn't really like the older Star Trek-y stuff.
Right.
But so she saw the promo for season 3 of Strange New Worlds and said, that looks good.
Yeah.
I'll watch that. Well, the season 1 or 2 are out. So we're working our way through them.
Yeah. So my wife and I have actually been watching Strange New Worlds season 1 and 2, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, so we're working our way through that. She hasn't seen Strange New Worlds, and I'm more than happy to watch them again. So we're working our way through that. So that's been really, really good. And I remembered at the last minute one movie that I do need to mention and highly, highly recommend people watch.
He's pumping his fist in there, people.
I'm pumping my fist. It's not the finger of admonition. It's pumping. It's the fist of excitement. Oh, that's weird. Is Predator, Killer of Killers?
Say that title again.
Predator, Killer of Killers, an animated movie. I think it's on Max, which is what kind of all the HBO stuff on. So it's an anime movie, but it's about the Predator universe, and it's pretty darn good, actually.
Right.
So it's basically the genre is predators come to Earth to prove themselves by fighting against great warriors, against great fighters, and the ones who the humans have managed to defeat a predator are kind of taken away and put in this kind of like Battleverse sort of thing, battle world type thing, and they sort of So it's well done. So one of the warriors is from feudal Japan, and one is a guy from World War II in flying a fighter plane, and the other one was from Viking times sort of thing. So, and they all
excellent,
worth watching if you like the Predator universe.
I do like the Predator, so
yes,
I've written down the title, so I'm going to have a look for that. That'll be
Predator
good.
Killer. It's only fairly new, so yes.
Is it super gory or?
Yeah, I think your kids could watch it.
Yeah,
I think so.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. It's not. Yes, it's gory, but it's animated. It's like it's kind of like anime. It's anime gory, if that makes sense.
Right, so, that's good. I like that.
So that's been a lot to talk about, actually. Wow.
You have been busy, and so what have you got planned to watch? Do you get to watch Murderbot straight through once it's finished? What else do you reckon?
Yeah, so we're doing Sandman. So Sandman season 2 starts very soon. Probably by the time that we've uploaded this episode, so that'll be good. Foundation season 3. I'm really looking forward to that.
Right.
I've actually started listening to the original Foundation novel as an audio book, and people think, why don't they stick to the book? Because if they stuck to the book, it would be boring. It's really just a series of conversations between men, and they're all smoking, because this is the 1950s, and Asimov loved smoking and cigars, so they're all smoking, and there's a lot of tobacco and cigarette and cigar references.
Amazing.
And it's like, and it's all just a sequence of conversations from different timelines about what's going on. Okay, so it's like it's not very action heavy. So so you can see what they had to make some changes to the TV series, but so it's very.
It is interesting. I watched, as I said, 3 days of the Condor.
Yeah,
which is 75, 74, set in New York and a bit in Washington DC, but every second person smoking, basically. Yeah, at their desk at work.
Yeah.
It's so unusual for us.
Yeah. It's just like, well, I remember reading it probably 20 years ago, thinking, "What? Why is everyone smoking?" But back in those days, that was just what people did. That was normal. I mean, sci-fi reflects the times that it was written or performed in.
Yeah.
So as much as it looks forward to the future. So
excellent.
They're probably the things I'm looking forward to. And I'm sure there's a movie. Oh, there's a movie called Superman coming out soon.
Oh, so he's a soup expert?
He's a man, but he's better than everyone. He's kind of like above everyone. So he's not sub-man.
He's not supra-man.
He's not supra-man.
Right.
Or he's not supra-man. He's shop there. He's Superman, not superb man.
Super. Yes.
Yeah, like,
that would be good. Yeah. When is that coming out? Do you remember?
very soon, like within a couple of weeks, I think. It's
Sweet.
in July, I believe. Yeah, so very soon.
All
so
right.
I am definitely looking forward to seeing that one at the cinema.
Me too. That would be excellent.
Definitely.
Should we have a break?
We can have a break. We can have a timeout. We can have a Kit Kat. We can come back and we will continue this discussion. Well, we'll continue discussing things, but we'll move the subject on to our movie of the week, which, well, you've probably seen the title, so you probably know what it is by now. We're going to talk about Moon by Duncan Jones.
Yes. Excellent.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Okay. We shall be back in a moment.
And welcome back. That may have been 10 seconds for you, but for us, it was probably like 10, 15 minutes.
I literally patted the dog.
Yeah. Oh, I gave my partner a kiss.
Oh my God. God, we're so sloppy.
Welcome back. Now, this part of the podcast is where we're going to discuss our movie of the episode. I'd say movie of the week, but we don't record nearly on a weekly cycle, and we probably never will, unless we're both retired and have nothing else better to do with our lives. Might happen sooner than later. You just never know. This episode's movie is the movie Moon by director Duncan Jones. So I think it's 2009, so it's like 16 years old. I cannot believe that Moon is 16. That does not seem right. I actually wanted to watch this because I do really love this movie. I do have it on DVD somewhere, but I wanted it as a very special movie to me. I went and ordered the Ultra HD from Amazon. So there's actually a UK release.
Right.
So yeah.
I have it here. So you've outdone me. I've got a Blu-ray ex-rental copy from the UK. I bought it when I was in the UK. How's the 4K? Does it look good?
It looks great. It looks really good on 4K. I really love this. Yeah. Now, for those who are not familiar with the movie, here's the summary that's on the back of the disc, and I'm going to read it actually from my phone because my eyesight cannot read the tiny writing on the back of a disc. Sam Bell, played by Academy Award winner Sam Rockwell, is nearing the completion of his 3-year-long contract with Lunar Industries, mining Earth's primary source of energy on the dark side of the moon.
Does it say dark side of the moon?
It does actually say dark side of the moon.
Not far side.
I think they mean far side. It does actually say dark side. It does actually say dark side. They should say far side. Oh, finger of admonition there.
I've just got the astronomer in my brother all riled up.
So they're mining helium-3 on the far side of the moon, along with only the base's vigilant computer Gertie as his sole companion. Bell's extended isolation has taken its toll. His only link to the outside world comes via satellite messages from his wife and a young daughter. He longs to return home, but a terrible accident on the lunar surface leads to a disturbing discovery that contributes to his growing sense of paranoia and dislocation so many miles away from home. There we go.
I like it when a description feeds into the initial impression the viewer's supposed to have of the movie.
Yeah, before you actually work out what's really going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's a good summary of what the movie's about without actually giving away the plot point of the movie. Now, we will be discussing the plot points and what actually happens in the movie. So if you haven't actually gone and watched it and want to watch a really good movie without being spoiled, this is a movie we want to watch without being spoiled. I would pause this podcast, go watch the movie, and then come back at a later time and then enjoy us discussing this movie that you've just watched.
I do think when I first saw this, I didn't guess it in advance, so I was quite shocked at the realization. And it's a good feeling. So if you haven't seen it, yeah, I recommend watch it.
The twist, and I'm going to be spoiling it from now on. So the twist is that Sam Bell is a clone. Basically, it's a mining operation on the far side of the moon and presumably far away from the jurisdiction from anyone else who's watching what's going on. And they've obviously worked out it's cheaper just to have clones of the one guy. Pretty much the clones, as I understand it, the clones basically start wearing out after 3 years, which is why they replace them every 3 years.
What's that term?
Planned obsolescence. Oh no, it's a bit like Blade Runner.
I've written accelerated decrepitude.
Accelerated decrepitude, yeah. So it's a bit like Blade Runner, where they only have 4-year lifespans, and I think on Moon it's 3-year lifespan.
Yeah,
and probably less than that because they go out onto the surface. They're doing dangerous stuff. They have accidents. They have they're exposed. There's radiation exposure, I suppose. But yeah, they have a limited lifespan, and you could see the Sam Bell that we start off with initially. So, which if you put the subtitles on is referred to as Sam 1.
Yes,
and then he has an accident, and he wakes up back on the base, and we've got Sam Bell 2 there, who's been a newly awakened clone.
It's a very clever trick, though, because he's in the hospital bed being treated by Gertie, the robot, and you think he's being treated for injuries sustained during the accident.
Yeah,
but actually, it's part of the process of him being woken up from stasis as a clone.
Yeah, he's actually the replacement clone. The other one is from the vehicle accident has been basically left for dead.
Exactly right. That's
literally left for dead. It's very interesting to watch a movie which is 90% of the scenes. It's just one actor in the movie.
Yeah,
Sam Rockwell, and he's a very very good actor, and he's very good in this. Apparently, Duncan Jones designed this movie as a vehicle for Sam Rockwell so he could work with him. I don't know if you got to watch any of the extras on the.
There was a single 60-minute making of which I did watch.
The majority of the movie is Sam, one of the Sam clones, interacting with Gertie, who's probably one of the cooler and realistic looking robots, voiced by Kevin Spacey, of all people.
Yeah.
Actually very good though. And you're kind of watching the movie waiting for Gertie to turn evil. But he never does. You're kind of waiting him to go full hell on
We're
Sam.
so used to AI robot assistants in science fiction movies. Yeah. Well, it'd be more accurate to say we assumed it had the interest of the company as a higher priority than interest in the clone. But the reality is it had been programmed under whatever circumstances to look after Sam.
Yeah.
And that took precedence over the interests of the company, which is a nice little twist on the story, I thought.
Yeah, I think perhaps they didn't anticipate what Sam may potentially get up to. Very, very clever movie. And there is a very tender moment where Sam 1 watches the old video logs recorded by previous iterations of Sam Bell being unwell and being sick, and what happens when they climb into the capsule that will send them back to Earth, and they don't actually climb in. It's not actually a space capsule. It's a death capsule.
It's it's an instant cremation device.
Yeah. That's quite horrific. But Gertie sees his distress and actually sort of tries to physically, with a robotic hand, come across him and pat him on the shoulder and like trying to show actual empathy. And I think,
and this is a human that's been by themselves for 3 years, so that's the first contact they've had.
Yeah. So very, very, very well done. Very good. And I did love with Gertie because he's kind of he's not at all an anthropomorphized android. He's he's literally something that hangs on the ceiling and runs on tracks and has automated arms that can be a bit disconnected from him. I've noticed that. So, but he has the little screen and it has little smiley face logos,
little emoticons.
Emoticons to sort of indicate his actual mood and his concern, which is actually really quite interesting. So, but despite being very mechanical in appearance, he's actually a very with the voice of Kevin Spacey, he's very human, has a very human vibe about him.
Yes, perceptive and has a good quality.
Yeah.
I think the key scene for me was when Sam One was trying to use passwords to get access to the video logs, and Gertie actually just enters the password for him.
Yeah,
because he could see that he needed help. So Gertie's job was to help him. So Gertie gave him the password. And that's when he saw those videos from the previous versions, previous clones.
A very touching moment. Very touching moment. One of the things I did love about the movie, which definitely helped maintain the emotional tone, was the soundtrack. Music by a guy of the name of Clint Mansell. Really good. Like, I've gone back and listened to the soundtrack previously. Really, really worth listening to on Spotify. A lot of practical effects used. So the vehicles traversing the surface of the moon are basically practical models for the most part, not CGI. Obviously, there's some there's some light use of CGI, but some really good, cool looking practical models. It really kind of had like Thunderbirds vibes, almost Space 1999 vibes. So using that sort of technology, but it looked really good.
It reminded me a little bit of Alien.
Yes.
Just very mechanical. In the 16-minute making of that I saw, Duncan Jones referred to Sid Mead, the designer for Blade Runner, and said everything was designed to have a purpose. They didn't make these bumps or anything on the walls just for the fun of it. Everything was there for a reason. He wasn't saying everything actually worked, but if there was, if something was designed a certain way, it was given a reason why it was designed that way. And it's like a future realism kind of look to it, which is very much like Aliens, I thought. Alien.
Yeah, it did look credible, It didn't look like, oh, that's too weird. And you could see that it had been lived in for a while, because some parts of the base was actually really quite dirty and grotty. So that was definitely quite visible. Now, which again harkens back to the kind of the alien design philosophy. So, which is like, you think about it, that's a movie that was filmed like 30 years before.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
and Moon is 15 years old, 16 years old. Oh, goodness me. We are indeed veteran Eldon herds.
Yes. I was going to make the observation, one thing I noticed watching it this time, there's obvious differences between Sam and 1-2. And Sam 1, he's obviously decaying before us, like he's nearing the end of his life, 3-year life. So he's not completely with it. He's actually hallucinating at times.
Yep.
But one thing he does have is 3 years of experience. He's been there at the station for 3 years.
Yep.
And, for example, he can play table tennis really well.
Yep.
That excellent scene of him just without effort, just playing table tennis. And and the other guy who hadn't played table tennis didn't have the muscle memory for it.
Yeah.
He hadn't. But the one advantage of Sam 2, because he was fresh, he had problem-solving skills. But he was saying, there's got to be another room somewhere. Like, he was trying to work it out.
Yep.
So there was a balance between knowledge of the world versus problem-solving skills. And they actually worked. When they worked together, they worked quite well. It's quite good.
It's a bit like, well, there's the scene where they actually have a bit of a scuffle and a bit of an argument, because both of them a bit hot. Sam Bell is a bit hot-blooded temperament-wise, and they have a bit of a scuffle, and then Sam 1 has this ridiculously heavy bloody nose, and Sam says, what's going on? I didn't hit you that hard. He says, no, it's because he's fallen apart from the inside,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like, and he looks worse and worse as the movie goes on. I will make one observation, though, about the space helmets.
Oh, right, yes.
I don't
Did
think
they
they
have
had
lights?
lights. They did not have lights on the inside to light up their
Right.
faces. They
Oh,
used
thank God.
external lighting to light up their faces when they,
As it should be.
as it should be, and as it, yeah. So didn't have the ridiculous lights inside a helmet to light up a face. So
Yeah.
yeah,
As it's,
although very very slight waggling finger of admonition. The location of the base where they're from was obviously close to the
oh,
lunar North Pole,
yeah.
um, and it's
The angle of the
close.
sun
And
was
it's
really
close to
impressive.
there. The angle of the sun was very, very low,
Yeah.
but you could still see the stars in the sky, which is
Oh,
not what
that's a good point.
normally happens because the sun's very bright and lights up the surface, reflecting
For
in
new
this.
listeners,
Yeah.
they should know that we analysed Ad Astra, and this was a point that you brought up then, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Yes. But the rule of cool applies. I think you see. I'm more than happy to forgive them for that.
One thing I thought was
Yeah.
really impressive was the interactions between the two Sams.
Mm.
Sometimes it was probably a body double, certainly when they were scuffling. But there was one scene, probably about three quarters through the movie, and the Sam 2 was saying to Sam when he could tell that Sam 1 was really sick, he said, What's wrong with you, man? You know, come on,
Mm.
put your hat on. And he actually grabs his hat out of Sam 1's hand and puts it on his head,
Yeah.
and it was faultless. I couldn't. It
That's
to me,
very
it
well
just
done.
looked. It was
Yeah.
just incredible. Obviously, there was CG going on, but yeah, it was really impressive.
Good CGI is invisible CGI, and I couldn't pick it.
I had some thoughts on the idea of the original Sam from which the clones came from. He also, I'm assuming, must have been up there, like actually done the job, because that's the whole thing was staged. He must have been up there doing the job,
Mm.
and he had no direct comms, because otherwise, how else would they have got those videos about it from his wife, just sending a message instead of calling directly? But I guess my point is that companies send him up there,
Yeah.
and even though he's not a clone, he's a vanilla human. They also cut off the comms for him for 3 years or for
Yeah.
however long in order to
Oh.
obtain those videos. But if you think about it, like it's almost like, again, it's using the uploading memory to your brain
Yeah.
trope, which always makes me.
Yeah.
Um,
It. Gertie did say to Sam that memories of his wife were in memory implants. He does
yeah,
actually say that.
yeah. So
Yeah. But that's yeah. Now, the interesting thing is that the Sams that we see in the movies, we actually see Sam 5, 6, and 7. So,
right, yeah,
yeah, confirmed by Duncan Jones in one of the little docos that I saw him being interviewed about.
okay.
So Sam, what we see, the original Sam 1, the one who's not doing very well, he's actually Sam 5.
Right.
Probably not, and then the one that is awakened after the accident is Sam 6, and the one that they kind of decant at the end uh, and is just in the process of waking up is Sam 7. Um, and when Sam 6 puts himself into the little shuttlecraft that sort of sends the helium-3 back to Earth, so he could. So you actually at the end of the movie, you actually hear like news reports talking about
Mm.
Sam being the 6th iteration of
Oh,
Sam
do
as
they?
well. Yes,
Right.
and yeah, reading the subtitles actually help with that.
There's a
So
really good line from Gertie just before Sam 2 jumps into the helium 3
mm,
capsule. He says, I hope life on Earth is everything you remember it to be.
yes,
This is very awesome
yes,
line. Like you're
yes,
because those memories are artificial, but they're still
yes,
his memories.
yes, yes.
I don't know if you saw it, but in the making of sort of 15-minute making of that I saw, they actually showed a map of the entire base,
Mm,
and they made that for real,
yeah,
and it was completely enclosed.
yeah.
And they said it was an interesting filming because all the lights were the actual lights. So they
Ah,
weren't stage lights. The whole
yeah,
thing
yeah,
was
yeah.
peeled over from the roof down because you can
Oh,
see Gertie's tracks in the
yes,
ceiling.
yes.
And they said it became a problem because there's times they want to get a good angle, but there was a wall in the way. He said, and sometimes you can move the set, but this was a closed set. It was a sealed. And he said, so occasionally they could like cut a hole so you could put a camera at a certain angle, but often he said it was like filming on location. Like you can't just knock down walls, even though they built the location.
Oh, that's very
that
cool.
was very clever.
That's very
But
cool.
it made it more realistic. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
I have a couple of niggles.
Please.
Now, I understand the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth.
That is correct.
That is not reflected at all in this movie. Yeah, you either go full hog and try and make everything 1/6 gravity, or just ignore the principle, which is what they did. And it actually worked, because whilst I was watching it, it didn't occur to me. But then afterwards, I thought they wouldn't be able to play table tennis like that.
Actually, that would have been quite different. Yeah, the ball would have fallen differently. Yes, and when he was getting water out of the tap, that would have flowed differently.
Actually, just walking in the fight scene would have been completely different.
There's some scenes in the series, The Expanse, where they're on the moon, and there's one point where a character's pouring whiskey out of a whiskey decanter, and it flows. It's obviously CGI, but it flows very slowly and settles very slowly inside a glass. It was actually very nicely done. But yeah, just to remind you that the gravity is actually less on the moon.
And this isn't. I've got another one. It's not really a criticism. It's just a note. But so at the start of the movie, Sam one's having hallucinations, and they seem to stop as soon as he's back on the base with Sam 2. And initially I thought, oh, that's inconsistent. But then I thought, no, actually, he now has a real person to talk to. So his brain's sort of recovered. It doesn't need to have the hallucinations anymore.
Yes.
So that was quite clever.
You had another niggle?
I did also wonder, this is me being total nerd, that so Sam 2 had driven out twice to the broken rover.
Yes.
So there'd be hit those tracks on the moon's surface. So if the repair people wanted to check out what was good, they'd actually see it and go, what the hell's going on?
They would have seen the tracks. Yeah. They obviously didn't pick up on that, though, because I guess you see what you expect to see, so they probably weren't expecting to see that. So, yeah.
Did you like the design of the spacecraft that they came in on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty funky.
It was obviously something that doesn't ever land in an atmosphere.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought this is a space-to-space spacecraft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I think it came from Jupiter or something.
Yeah. It kind of gave me Sulaco vibes a little bit, again, alien-esque vibes, in terms of the design language.
I think one of the other cool lines that stuck with me from the very first time I saw it, was when Sam 1 had been rescued and he was back on the hospital bed. And he whispers to Gertie, is there someone in the room with us?
Yes.
Because he knows he's been hallucinating.
Yes.
But he all of a sudden can see someone with sunglasses on who's not saying anything, but he's sort of, hovering around the corner, and he's thinking, is that dude just an hallucination?
I think he also says, Gertie, who is that in the room? And he says, Sam Bell.
Yeah,
you need to have more. You need to have another drink. So basically, Gertie doesn't lie.
He's not lying.
He just does not elaborate
the question truthfully.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I can go back and watch again and again, because there's a lot of richness in the story and great performance.
Did you notice the actor Matt Berry?
Yes, was one of the voices in control.
He has a very distinct voice, doesn't he? Yeah.
And Benedict Wong was the other guy.
Yeah.
So yes, I did notice that.
There's an outtake that I saw where they just finished recording it, and Benedict Wong says, "Yeah, effing clone," and Matt Berry's going, "You bloody idiot." They're not doing it for the camera.
I do like Matt Berry as the I can't remember the name, the robot from the Fallout series. So
yeah, that's right. No, I don't remember his name, but
yes, that was very, very funny.
I had a quick look up about other movies that Duncan Jones has made.
Yeah,
there's one called Source Code. Have you seen this one?
Yes, I believe I have.
Because it's got 90 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I believe I have. It's been a while. Yeah. I seem to recall. Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't have any memory of it.
Oh, we will have to go dig it out and watch it. I can.
He also directed the Warcraft movie, which
Oh,
I quite like.
yeah.
It could have,
That was decent. Yeah, that was
that was
decent.
he was hamstrung a little bit by
Yeah.
someone else's story, basically, I guess.
Do you know who Duncan Jones is famously related to?
Is it David Bowie?
Yeah, he's the son of David Bowie.
Now, the only reason I know that because one of his middle names is Ziggy.
Yeah.
That was a guess. So,
Of the. So yeah, no, good guess. Good guess. Yeah, no, his dad is David Bowie, and he could not call himself David Jones because there was Davy Jones in the Monkees back in
right.
the 60s, 70s. So whenever that was on, so he had to choose another name. The doco on the Ultra HD disc that I was watching was kind of like a 10-year retrospective. So Duncan Jones's original project was to make a movie called Mute, which he eventually did make and is on Netflix. And he wanted Sam Rockwell to be in that, but he needed money and budget for that. And he said, "Well, okay, I want Sam Rockwell. That's how I'll do this movie." And the budget, according to Wikipedia, is like was only $5 million, which is like very small. He wanted to make a movie called Mute, which he ended up making eventually. But while he
Right.
was waiting for the funding and everything to come through to make Mute, he wanted something for Sam Rockwell to work on. So that's why he came up with the story of Moon. So as an excuse to work with Sam Rockwell. Okay. So,
Gotcha.
and apparently in the movie Mute, and I haven't watched it, I need to go watch it. Apparently there was a sequence on TV in the background where you see Sam Rockwell as the clone after he's come back to Earth having some sort of congressional meeting, or and there's some sort of inquiry into the company.
Interesting.
So it is actually in universe tied together.
Sticken, you have a large brain. Please explain to me how helium-3 is important in the production of energy.
Okay, so helium-3 is a rare isotope of helium. So normally, which basically consists of a molecule of 3 helium atoms. Normal helium is H2, helium-2, which is just 2 helium atoms bonded together in the molecule. The idea is that radiation from the sun hits the moon's surface, liberates helium that's in the soil, and the high energy particles smack the helium molecules together so that you get unstable helium-3. And apparently you can use them in a fusion reaction, a fusion reactor to liberate a lot of energy. That's the theory anyway. So that's why they were harvesting helium-3 to send back to Earth to put in fusion reactors. Now, they didn't need a lot of it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Those combines, there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
And the cylinders that they're sending back aren't actually that large. There's a
No. But yeah, that's the rationale behind it. And because the movie starts with a sequence saying, remember the good bad old days when we had to worry about how much energy we were using, says, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore because we've got fusion supplied by helium-3 sent to us from the moon. And isn't that great? We don't have to worry about energy anymore. So this is like 2009. So this is before we've all gone nuts with solar and renewable energy and battery storage and all that sort of stuff. So we're
excellent. Thank you for your big brain input. So I had some notes, and I think I've gone through them all now.
I think I've gone through pretty much everything I want to say. Yeah.
I think that was an excellent movie, and I was really it looks great.
Yeah.
It's a good story. I'd probably say that maybe the second time watching it, the story's a bit predictable, but it was so well made. I was compelled to still watch it. I still wanted to watch the whole thing through.
Yeah, the doco I watched, he talked about it. Says, well, they could have left the whole reveal that they're clones towards the end of the movie, but I thought no, it was much more interesting to actually have that revelation fairly early on, like about a third of the way through the movie. Yes. And then it's like, okay, so they're clones. So now how are they going to handle it? How are they going to manage it with each other? Now it's interesting because they kind of like both Sam seem to be basically in a state of denial. Like, oh, okay, obviously clones. They just didn't want to talk about it or face up to it.
I mean, that would have been amazingly hard to act. because the person you're acting opposite isn't actually there.
Yeah.
That's probably the first scene or the first couple of scenes when they're talking to each other and he's going to grab his slippers and they're both feeling really awkward and uncomfortable. That's
there was one feature on the disc that I was watching, and where Sam 2 was trying to get the attention of Sam 1, and Sam 1 was playing music, and someone was playing "Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it."
Yeah.
And it's how they filmed it as two separate. So they filmed Sam 2's bit first,
right?
And they recorded his dialogue, and then when Sam 1 came back to do his bit, he actually had an earpiece where he could hear the other Sam 2's dialogue, and they just like synchronized it back and forth.
Holy moly!
As very cleverly done.
Genius.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
Yeah, very, very cleverly done. So, great movie. I'm glad I've got it on disc so I can watch it forever.
Yeah, a bit jealous. 4K. Excellent.
We haven't decided what we're going to watch next, have we?
It's true.
Have a bit of think about that.
For those who are new, we tend to watch, obviously science fiction movies. We've watched Ad Astra, Alien, or was that
Alien? Yes, the first one.
We did Highlander. Which we had fair criticisms of.
We had a lot of criticisms of. Ad Astra. Yeah, look, there's a list somewhere I can't remember anymore. Oh, we watched one of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek. Not beyond. Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek Into Darkness. Yes, we watched Star Trek Into Darkness.
So,
just to give you a feel, a flavour for the kind of movies that we watch and like to talk about, but we don't know what we're going to watch next. Otherwise, we let you know in advance.
Yeah, I've got a list of movies that I'd like to go through, and I'll go through and pick one and suggest it to you, or we'll go through. Yeah, have a bit of.
Give me a couple, and I'll toss for it.
Look, whatever your decision-making process requires, I make no judgment. Folks, thanks for paying attention to us this long. Please recommend us if you have it, to your friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe it and share it with friends. I think we have a bit of fun here, and we like to share the fun. So we don't take ourselves too terribly seriously, despite our highbrow criticisms that we might have of these movies that we really do deep down love and adore because they're part of
DNA growing up.
Part of our DNA growing up. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, these are movies that formed us as adults. Yes, you can blame these movies for making us the men that we are.
Another good session.
Thank you, sibling. And until next time. Oh, one thing I'll remember. Our other brother, who's not in this podcast, he and I are going to go and watch Star Wars: A New Hope. We're going to have the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra playing the soundtrack to it. So
fantastic!
That'll be fun. So I'll let you know how that goes. It's in August.
I'm not going to. I'll just let you know that maybe 5 years ago, my wife bought me tickets to the same show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a Friday, and I was where I was working within walking distance of where it was.
Wow!
And I was so tired. I was Friday. I thought I'm not going to go, and I was just one ticket. It was just for me.
Yeah.
But I got there, and there's a few people dressed up, but most people were grown ups. It wasn't like a Comic-Con thing.
Yep.
And when I got there, I ended up swapping seats with someone, so these two people could sit together. So I got a pretty good seat, and it was the best viewing of A New Hope of Star Wars I've ever seen.
Fantastic.
Because everyone was such a good mood. People openly laughing at C-3PO's jokes. It was genius. So I hope it's that good, and I'm sure it will be.
It's going to be great. It's going to be at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, I think. So we'll see how that'll be a big audience, I think. So
maybe we'll cut this out, and once you've seen it, you can tell us.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We'll talk about that. We can leave this out. It's down the track.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye.
Let's say goodbye. So once again, so folks, thanks for being with us today. We've had a great time. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us, and we look forward to being back on your phone or computer screen, or in your earbuds, however you intake our output, sometime real soon. Sticking out.
Ramnex is out.